Hey, what's up?
Yo,
All right.
well, obviously, there's some delay on the stream, but I was just gonna offer to, because I'm watching the stream, I could just read the chat and ask you if anybody has any questions. I could ask you or anything you want to know or
Yeah, definitely.
anything like that.
Absolutely. You can provide some feedback. All right. So here at the bottom of the map, guys, we got Thor, Berserker, in red. Of course, the map is Anatolia. It's a water map. And here at the top, here we have Zeus, and it's the Mista in blue. So we have a dock on the left side. So yeah, they're both building docks on the opposite sides of the water here to start out with. And looks like it's a pretty decent map. Berserker going for his front wood line. Not sure. I think I would have gone for this wood line here. This wood line seems to be more of a defensive line for his town. But I don't think he put too much thought into it. It is better early game because it's next to the gold mine here, so he can gather the wood and the gold at the same time. And here on the Mista side, his wood seems rather decent, although I would definitely say Berserker has better wood. His granary behind the tower here, and he is starting on hunt. And Berserker does have hunt as well. So both players built their docks next to the fish, and it looks like they're both going to capture one side. I don't know if the Thor player is going to build a second dock. He would have to travel across the map. Okay, so he's going to build a second dock on the same side of water here. For everybody just tuning in, this is Age of Mythology Tournament quarterfinals. A lot is at stake here, so these matches are very important to these players. And your commentator today is myself, Chicks, and we have 7up here with us. We're both.
Hi guys.
We're both Age of Mythology and Age of Empires 3 players.
Yeah, and I'll let Chicks do most of the commentary here because there is some stream delay, and this way we can have the recorded game valid if you wish to download that and watch it later. But just about the two players, these are two of the top players. The Mista considered rank number 1 or rank number 2 in this game. It's debatable, whichever side of the coin
Absolutely.
you're on. But
I mean, these
very
players,
good,
very high profile. There's no doubt about it.
And Berserker himself, even I saw people in the chat talk about why would you pick Norse, but actually he got pretty lucky here because this is a good map for Thor, and he definitely can compete versus the Mista, so I'm looking forward to an exciting game.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it was a good map for Thor. I'd definitely say it's a good map for Zeus as well.
Definitely. But it's better than Oasis, for example.
Yeah, sure. If you want to put it that way. So here the Mista, just scouting the map, looking at some relics. There are some pretty decent relics here. You got 10% hero speed, and you got this one that gives the hoplite more attack. We see the Thor player walling up his side early. But then again, I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure why Berserker went for this. Well, I do know why, but I would prefer that he would make a second ox cart and go for the wood at the bottom. Because right now he's leaving his base wide open. What do you guys think? Okay, so we got the Mista building his, what is that, third dock now? No, second dock, and looks like it's going to be on the other side of the water. I would imagine that he'll build another dock down here. because his fish are traveling quite a ways. So yeah, we see another wall going up here. More defensive style by the Thor player. And we see some walls here from Mista as well. So what do you expect to happen from the Zeus player and from the Thor player? Because we got Thor going Forseti and we have Zeus going Hermes. So what do you think? Should we be expecting a fast mythic? Fighting on water early on both sides? What do you think will happen?
Well, me personally, I don't know. Did Berserker go Forseti expecting Athena? Or is Forseti just generally a better god in this matchup?
Well, I'm not too sure what to say about that. I mean, it could have definitely went both ways.
I don't think that Hermes Zeus is such a good god because it's both of its classical god paths are very good. Hermes is I mean, the uses for ceasefire are just ubiquitous. I mean, you could use ceasefire for anything. Obviously, Athena is more streamlined and depending upon the map, but Hermes is just successful. Like anytime you want to use it, such a strong god power. So I don't think going Hermes makes him at any disadvantage in this game at all versus Athena.
Well, Hermes is definitely a valid choice. He does have the choice of going, of course, Athena. Athena is good for more of a land attack early on. I mean, I've seen it before. I've seen Mista go super aggressive, build those barracks right out in the front, and get his hoplite archers and do a restoration right on his TC and take it down. Taking his opponent by surprise. But here in this case, he went Hermes, and giving him that ceasefire, able to be more versatile and perhaps picking up a second TC, and I'm expecting him to go Mythic. He's already got his armory up, so he's definitely going to go Heroic. Not sure exactly what his game plan is. Perhaps fighting Heroic, or as I mentioned before, going straight for Mythic. So Berserker just picking up his second TC now. And we see a water battle going on up here.
I'm just curious whether what heroic god Berserker will go, because it's really, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that he is going to try to go Ragnarok, or going to have to go Ragnarok. I mean, in a perfect world, I think all Thor players would love to go tier, but sometimes you just need to go Ragnarok, and so I just want to know if he's gonna go Broggy or if he's gonna need Scotty, or what's up with that.
Well, Mista is definitely going to go Skyless at this point, as Cryoplex mentioned there in the chat. He is the Mr. Know-It-All. And of course, the Thor player has an option of going Scatty or the Flaming Weapons. Both are viable options. I don't have a single doubt about it. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so we just got some more walling going on here by Berserker. Very strategic. Keeping in mind, guys, this is only a best out of 3 quarterfinal, so each match...
Yeah, it's pretty do or die.
Yeah, each match is very, very delicate. So these players need to essentially just play it out perfect. Does he have
Yeah,
some
one thing
villagers?
well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it doesn't look like he's making Skyla. His first Skyla came out on this side, pretty sure. But it looks like he's just making Hydras.
Gotta love it.
Well,
He's got them on auto queue even, doesn't he?
yeah. Doesn't look like Cryplex got his strategy off hand after all. Well, those Hydras are pretty nasty, if you know. And also, Mista's got quite a bit of fish, so those Hydras costing food is not going to affect him too much. He does need to pick off the heroes, though. He really needs to focus those Hypastes, I guess they're called. And there it is. Berserker using his Frost. And of course, we get a ceasefire as well. Berserker attempting to trap him in. Was ceasefire necessary here? I think I would have gone flaming weapons. Definitely flaming weapons on those Berserker and on those Hydras. Could have pushed them back.
It's also about a confidence level. That's what I was talking about. It's how you're feeling in the map so far, and how you're feeling that you're doing versus your opponent. Obviously, Scotty is more like, oh my god, he's probably gonna make a strong heroic push or something like that, so I'm gonna need it. The only reason people go Scotty is because instead of Broggy, Thor players, is because they feel like they need the Frost. Whereas obviously flaming weapons in a combination with Ragnarok is, in my opinion, much stronger. So he probably anticipated a strong heroic push.
Yeah, well, for Ragnarok to happen, you're going to have a lot of villagers, lots of economy going on, right? And of course, you need a trade. So for Ragnarok to happen, essentially, bottom line, you're going to have a large gold mine in the front, right? And so you can't really just rely on Ragnarok. You got to be fighting in heroic. And so I guess he thought Scatty would have been the better option here, which you don't see too often. And maybe he chose Scatty for those frost giants to frost out the Hydras.
Yeah, this is more of a vanilla Age of Mythology, and Berserker is known for his Age of Mythology. As you can see, the walls and any towers that he might throw up are pretty characteristic of Noah players.
And look at that massive Hydra with 3 heads. 3 heads, a 60 attack. 60 attack on one of those Hydras. That is absolutely ridiculous. Killing those units in pretty much a single hit. Berserker not knowing what to do. I don't know if Berserker knew this was coming. I definitely wouldn't. But Berserker is definitely much more experienced than I am, so. We're talking about some of the best players here right now in this game. Mista just stealing that TC. Or no, that's his third TC. Kind of an odd placement for it, right in the middle of the map. Really, you would think Mista would be at a disadvantage here because of that TC placement. But he is quite ahead right now, so. Those Hydras just ripping stuff apart here. You got this Dwarven mine. This match is definitely looking in favor of Mista right now.
Yeah, that's what I see. Obviously there's some delay, and I'm seeing the Hydras just doing work right now. One's got like 4 heads, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I see one with 4 heads, 2 heads. Those things just ripping apart.
Yeah,
80 hack damage.
Like Berserker's in a lot of trouble here.
Alright, there it is, fellas. Sorry, I thought just by clicking on them you could tell the armory upgrades. But he didn't have any upgrades on his myth units. Just on his units, and his villagers just have the basic heroic upgrades, whereas Berserker still having the classical economy ups. Alright, so that was game 1. We're on to game 2. So what'd you guys like about that match?
Yeah, guys, definitely. I'm here looking at the chat this whole time. I mean, we want to interact with you as much as possible. We want to make this the best experience for you as possible. So
Yeah, definitely, guys.
I mean, tell me. I'll be reading anything you say. I'll let chicks know what's up. If you have any recommendations of what to look at, what to do, what to talk about, let us know. We'll make it happen for you.
Sure thing. You know what? I didn't really focus on that bronze and that glitch. I didn't really notice it, or just I guess it passed me. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's awarded 1 point. Yeah, guys, these games are supposed to be rated, and Berserker just making it difficult. But anyway, we move on. Okay, guys, by the way, how's the sound? Is the sound too loud in comparison to the volume, the sound of the games here, and of course the microphone volume? Okay, so they're just going to break for 2 minutes.
Is Berserker still showing Thor, or do you think he'll go a different god, or what?
Well,
in my opinion, he should go Set. I would like to see Set Mirror, actually, because I find Set Mirrors super entertaining. And the Mista, obviously, Set is one of his main gods too, so we could see that.
It's honestly all dependent on what he's been practicing. I mean, we can't influence that. Neither, nobody can influence that really. Nobody really knows what he's been practicing. I mean, he knows that Mista was going to play Zeus, and so he feels Thor was the best bet. I'm not sure what his game plan was, whether it was to whether he knew what Mista was going to do, and so he just wanted to counter it. Maybe he's been studying Mista and seeing how he's been playing on Anatolia.
Well, I played Berserker a few times before, like earlier today, and I asked him about it, and he said that he would expect the Mista to either play Set or Zeus, and he told me that he was probably gonna play Poseidon against Set, something like that, or Set versus Set. But obviously, Mista going Zeus is something that he obviously would expect as well. I'm not sure why he goes Thor. I mean, when I was talking to him, he seemed to have some different plan, but maybe he just feels he's most comfortable with Thor.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't really know too much about Berserker. I know he was a Nilla player for the most part, and so personally, I like to see Isis being played here. I mean, after all, there's no civ restrictions, so I definitely like to see some Isis mirrors. Isis versus Zeus would be great.
Well, there's no doubt that both these players can play all gods. And we're not going to see Atlantean here anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't expecting Atlantean.
Yo, Lorenzo.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, Lorenzo. So we have a third fellow here, guys, with us. So three commentators, myself, Chicks. The fellow who was just speaking was 7-Up, and the guy who just joined us was Lorenzo. Hello, Lorenzo.
Yo, what's up, guys?
So as you know, Lorenzo, I don't know if you've been watching, but we're in game 2 right now. The first one was played on Anatolia, Zeus versus Thor, and Zeus ended up taking the win.
Yeah, unsurprisingly. I actually didn't watch the first game because I was doing some other stuff, but I'm here now, so...
Okay, well, you can definitely join us for this commentary in this next game.
Yeah, can I join the game as well? Or
No, I would have let 7-Up join, but there was a bit of a complication, and they wanted to assure that the recorded games were available. So
okay, then it's better to not observe.
Yeah, well, I told them I'd just read the chat if anybody had any questions. I'd let Chicks know, or just talk about in general stuff, because obviously there's some delay.
Yeah, the feedback is great.
You talk about the matchup. I see Zeus Poseidon right now, so...
Yeah, alright. So here we go. At the bottom of the map, we got red, Berserker, playing Poseidon. And looks like he is starting with Hunt, with a decent gold mine to his right. Here at the top of the map, we got blue, the Mista playing Zeus. And he does have some nice Hunt as well. Some zebras and those gazelles. But here's a twist. The Mista has a back gold mine. And he has better wood. He has better wood than Berserker. Yeah. But it's a decent map. I mean, you can't be too picky. The Berserker just finding his giraffes up here as well.
What I actually wonder is if the Mista is gonna use that storehouse for the gold as well, or if he's gonna build a new storehouse at the gold, because right now it's placed pretty far away from the gold, so I'm hoping he makes a second storehouse there.
Could be much worse. I mean, it's really not that bad. If you put it into perspective, it's like a half a millisecond really extra. So
if anybody recently did to Ghost Lake versus Scotty recently on Lorenzo's channel, they know he has a unique affiliation with the efficiency of mining camp placements.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't deny it.
Lorenzo is all about that technicality of the game here.
For anybody new watching for Age of Mythology, make sure you put your camps and storehouses in the right spot. Just learn how to do it correctly the first time, and I mean, it'll be super easy. Efficiency is more than you think.
Well, absolutely, and I understood there was a lot of Age of Empires 2 viewers here, so this is, you know, Age of Empires 2 as well. It's all the same story. I mean, you have drop-off sites.
Actually has me confused for a little bit is that Berserker seemed to counter-save himself, like Poseidon and Thor against Zeus 2 times. That just doesn't really seem optimal to me. It's kind of weird.
Well, I'm not sure. What do you think of Poseidon versus Zeus? What do you expect to happen here?
I'm expecting that the Mista is gonna make a lot of Centaurs, and
Okay.
Berserker not being able to counter them and slowly lose to them. That's what happens in nearly every Zeus against other Greek matchup.
Now, you
It's
really
the
think
Centaurs that break the matchup?
Mista? Okay, well, he's aging up Hermes, so there's definitely a good chance that he will go Centaurs. But Mista
Yeah,
has
he will
such
totally
a
go
nice.
Centaurs. That's the thing to do.
Mista and Berserker have such a nice TC lineup. Do you really think that he's going to commit on the Centaur rating, or perhaps just use it as a short flank?
No, he's definitely gonna commit to it. There's no doubt in my mind. That's how you play this matchup. I think the Mista knows that as well. Obviously he can do whatever he wants, I don't know, but my guess would be that he would totally commit to Centaurs and just make a ton of Centaurs and just raid with them. I also think he will skimp on military for a bit. Maybe he will make one stable. I don't think he's gonna make much more early on. And then he's probably gonna make some Toxoty as well, but he's definitely gonna mess a lot of Centaurs. And the only real way how Poseidon can deal with that is by walling in everything, which is unrealistic. But we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, definitely. I was just taking a look at some relics here. They're pretty decent. 20% building, pierce attack, and of course we get a line of sight here, line of sight relic here. Now, yeah, as you mentioned, we see a ton of walls here. And so he's definitely expecting the Centaur strangle. But Mista only has 2 on the temple.
Yeah, that's sufficient for 1 Centaur plus a Centaur upgrade. But if he really wants to make additional Centaurs and keep producing them, he will need 3 or 4 on
at least 4 of them,
temple,
yeah,
so.
something like that. Okay, so we see both players went Hermes. And Mista already having 2 Centaurs, and an upgrade coming in at 70%, giving it an extreme amount of speed and resistance. I believe it gives hit points as well, I'm not sure. Berserker going triple stable here. Were you expecting triple stable from the Poseidon player?
No, not really actually. I actually expected him to take a second town center because there's no way you can deal with Centaurs and making Hippicons. Like, they're not gonna do that much. The Centaurs are just too good. Zeus against other Greek is actually a much more imbalanced matchup than people seem to think. Zeus has such a large advantage. It's definitely a very strong counter-civ, but people don't really seem to acknowledge that as much as, for example, Zeus against Odin or Zeus against Loki, which is also considered a counter-civ, but that's more commonly accepted.
Well, we see Mista just microing his Centaurs beautifully. Keeping in mind, the special attack of the Centaurs is 100% hit. No matter where the units are going, how they're going, how fast they're going, the Centaur special attack is a 100% hit. So if you micro them properly, they can be devastating. Mista getting a few hits on those, or perhaps Berserker getting a few hits on those Centaurs with his hero. Just making Hippolyta, sure. We'll go with that. Berserker having 3 extremely low hit point units and just getting picked off. Great micro there by the Mista.
Yeah, he did get quite a bit of damage on those Centaurs, Berserker that is, but whether you have a 1 HP Centaur or a full HP Centaur, it's still gonna do the same amount of damage. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so let's talk about the key points. Where do you think one player is gonna win? Where do you think they're gonna lose? As far as the time, what timing, or at a gold mine or something like that?
Well, personally, the TC lines are very back. So I'm not expecting too many fights in the middle of the map. If anything, they'll be over the gold mines. But that's my observation. What do you think, Lorenzo?
Berserker is obviously going to lose. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The question when? I think it's going to be relatively quickly, actually. I think it's going to be before the 15-minute mark.
Well, he does have quite a few Hippicons. And of course, the Mista is relying heavily on those Centaurs, which seem to be doing him quite well.
Yeah, the thing about Centaurs is they are extremely effective, but I mean, uh, they win games slowly, and what I mean by that is you damage your opponent slowly and enough that it just wears them down, wears them down, wears them down, that eventually they will lose, and it's inevitable that they will lose. But it might take. I think this game will go longer than 15 minutes. But
It might,
I don't.
but I don't know.
But I don't think any momentum will shift in the game.
Well, Mista's having a hard time trying to micro those Centaurs, as that Hippolyta is just, well, he's not focusing the Centaurs right now. But it seems like Berserker's doing a half-decent job here. I mean, the battle's not turning out as you would have thought. It's not all that bad.
Actually, this is more one-sided than it looks.
Although Berserker does need a second TC because Mista has been on second TC for some time now.
Yeah, this is already lost, to be honest. I hate to be like the downer, but this is pretty much already lost. He put all of those resources in Hippicons, and Hippicons just don't do anything against Centaurs. If you look at the score, that's pretty telling as well. For all the other people who don't play Age of Mythology, or perhaps aren't that great at Age of Mythology or not as experienced, so they may not have a frame of reference whether the score advantage is meaningful or not. But if you look at the score right now, it's about 1.5k against 1k, and that's a huge advantage. That's pretty much resigned territory already. The score in Age of Mythology is very representative of how well someone is doing. Not in all scenarios, but in most cases that is the case. So, and it is the case in this one. I don't see the Mista losing this ever. Like if they would play 200 games starting from this point, and each game would be slightly different, I expect a 100% win rate for the Mista. Like there's absolutely no way Berserker can win this. It's pretty much already over.
Well,
Now-
something I'd like to say: if you're new to Age of Mythology, if you're trying to get into it, I mean, if you're a new player, play with the score on, and just kind of glance up at the score and play with the time on as well. Those are the two reference points that you can use to help you get better as you play 10 games, 20 games, 30 games. You want to look at the score when you see something and just try to connect it with something, so you know their score will drop when this happens, and then you could use those two frames of reference to predict the outcome of the game. So let's just play with those on if you're new to playing the game, and it'll help you out.
Definitely. Well, as Lorenzo mentioned, it is a good reference to how the game is going for you and your opponent. I just do want to mention as well, we do see some Centaurs being picked off by Berserker, and Berserker having a ton of Hippicon. What I've been noticing in this game here is that Mista doesn't want to make any more military units at this point. He's going, I'm assuming or expecting the Mista to go triple TC, getting his eco ups, and just kind of more playing of a more boomy style at this point. A more boomy style, more defensive, and more heavy on economy. Because of course they both got 3 back TCs, and Mista is already ahead in economy, so he wants to stay ahead and you know, of course, take advantage of it. Berserker just getting trapped in here, losing quite a few, well, can't say quite a few Hippicon, but he did lose quite a bit hit points on those Hippicon. He did only lose 1 Hippicon though. Berserker does have his hero there on his front line. He should be careful. Berserker's still on 1 town center. And of course, he stopped making units and is going to age out with Aphrodite.
Yeah, the just screams vanilla. 1TC heroic, in my opinion, is never good unless it's Egyptian or some kind of Egyptian mirror. But 1TC heroic as Greek, 1TC heroic as Atlantean, pretty much as Norse either. I don't like it in pretty much all scenarios. And obviously, in the vanilla version of this game, you can't build a town center until you are heroic. So that's why I said it's characteristic of a vanilla player. But I don't like it.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think the game might be closer than you think. Because really, Berserker's score is just lower because he's aging up at this point. He's going for a second TC, and he used quite a decent ceasefire, right? And he's rebuilding his wall to protect his gold mine.
Well, at least it's going to last longer for 15 minutes, so that's something.
Yeah, he uses his Aphrodite upgrade. I think he's going to go get Heavy Hippocon. Yeah, he's just getting Sprinted Charge now. That should definitely give it some speed and hack damage. The battle looks even, I guess. They're both losing the same amount of units. That Sprinted Charge definitely giving it, giving those Hippocons some speed. Getting into battle sooner, and yeah, Berserker is going to call it GG. I thought Berserker might do okay. I mean, if he didn't just fight that battle.
So it's...
Yeah, that's 2-0. That's
Come
Mista.
on. Last...
And
Yes.
that's before 15 minutes, isn't it?
No, it's at 15:02.
Oh yeah, that's just too bad then.
I just saw that looking at the battle. I'm like, come on, make it past 15.
Yeah, 15:02. Yeah, that's just too bad.
Yeah,
But
I
guess I mean...
I definitely wouldn't have gotten that upgrade at that point. I would have just went straight for Heavy Hippocon and not fight that battle. Well, that's unfortunate. We'll see what happens next. That is 2-0, so at this point, Mista already advances to the next stage.
Well, at the end of the day, the PK member came through to the next stage, so that's good.
Yeah, well, they were both PK members, so...
That's the joke.
That was kind of a disappointing game, honestly. I knew what was gonna happen like at the start of the game and it kind of happened. I mean,